Okay. Okay, good. Well, it's Sunday morning. I'm not feeling so great because I had to, Saturday I spent working, trying to fix part of my house. And you guys know about the fire. So I live kind of, I say I live in Lancaster, but in fact, I really do live outside the Antelope Valley. And I don't live in Lake Hughes, but all the smoke, I live up in the mountains. And all the smoke's been coming up. And I cleaned my air AC and, well, anyways, I was busy. So we're going to draw. This is for my Art 2 students. I might play peekaboo and let the Art 1 kids know what you guys are doing, but you guys are a little bit ahead. They're not up to this level. If you had Art 1 with either me or Mrs. Brown, we're going to be reviewing this, okay? And I did put the old... So I'm going to need you guys to open up your portfolio book that you made. And we're going to do it on page 1. We never... Again, I need to remind you guys, we never draw or use any fill tips on the back. If you don't have a fill tip, that's great. You can use the ballpoint ink. I told you guys, my Art 2 students, I want you guys to experiment. Think of, I would advise you to use black or blue ink to make the dots. Stippling is dots. You can use green. So I said red. You can go black. Black is the best. I'm going to use black. But I want you guys to use blue. If you want to, you only have blue, go for it. That's okay. In the past, it was a big no-no, but the hipsters, a few Generation X. I'm a Generation X person. I grew up around there. I was born during that time. And Generation Y, we started experimenting, sketching with blue ink. Except the boomers didn't like it. They said that's a big no-no. You're not supposed to draw with blue ink. You can go with red. Red was very traditional with the Renaissance. I mentioned Leonardo da Vinci. If you look at all his sketches, it looks brown now, but he actually used to use red chalk. Okay, so let's get ready. I'm going to put this on the side, and I'm going to show you using a pencil first. We're going to sketch out our space. We're going to juxtaposition it. So here you guys go. And I hope the video is going to come out nice. You guys can see that. Or you know what? I'm going to get my camera. Let's see if it works with the camera. Okay, so bear with me. You're going to see me right now. And I'm going to put the camera on. I'm going to try to tie it around my neck. And I hope it works. Because for some reason, I had issues. They had to work on my computers, and then I had to calibrate everything. Okay, so I'm going to press the OK. And pray to God it works. Yeah, I'm going to have to... It's not. The reason is I can put lights on this. Is it working? Good heavens, it does not work. I wanted it to work. Wait. Let's wait for it, guys. Lights. Let's see. Let's bring it to life with the lights. There we go. It's not working, guys. Okay. I wanted so you guys could have a close-up. It's not going to work. So I'm going to remove this. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, I thought it was going to... I bought it for that pure purpose so we can have the close-ups. So I'm going to have to go just like I did in summer school. If you had me for summer school for your Art 1. Okay, so we're basically... And I like using little pencils. So I'm going to grab my ruler. Whatever rulers you have at home. I prefer transparent ones. So about about a third, a little bit above a third. I did my horizon line right here. Okay, guys. Next, I will position just like I did over here. Okay, we're going to do this. I did a cube, so I'm going to start from scratch. So I'm going to go over here. You're going to need an eraser as well. Okay, a good eraser. I'm gonna go with the little pencil because has a. And yes, I know you. Can you just skip this step? Well, you know what? Am I really happy with this? This is why we do it in pencil first, guys. If we don't like it, we can erase what we don't like, our mistakes for a while, before we commit to ink. So I would advise you guys to use any color pen later on for the stippling. Stipplings are dots. And stippling was developed so we could make print plates during the Renaissance to make copies. You know who developed the printing press? Gutenberg, but Albert Durer's father had a printing press. So that's like the guy, think of Silicon Valley, the first computer. It was the latest technology. So that's what I'm doing, guys. I'm kind of on my vanishing point. This is where my light source is going to be from. I'm going to erase the L. I might put a setting sun. There you go. Let's go. I will center it. I will place another one closer here for the cube. I'm thinking I'm going to start my cube right here. I'm going to imagine the bottom of my cylinder. Now, why do we do forms? Well, if you, some of you guys, the secret to drawing is learning how to draw these three forms. According to Degas, he said if you can draw or paint, draw and then paint a cube, a cone, or a cylinder, as well as a sphere. So these three, because these two are sort of slightly related. The bottom of a cylinder looks like this, except it doesn't have a pointy tip. So he says if you can draw this, you can draw anything in life. So everything's made out of cubes, cones, spheres, and cylinders. So, okay, so I think we're good. So now I'm going to do the cube. We're going to start with the cube. So I'm going to start with, and I need a smaller ruler because I keep bumping into stuff right now. I hope you guys can see that. I'm going to pull this up a bit. Oh boy, what's that little plastic ruler that I like? It's a really cheap one. It's flexible. Okay, you know what? Let's just go with this. If you don't have a ruler, use a credit card. This is not a credit card. I shouldn't be using this because this is my auto insurance, my house insurance too. But if you have a ruler, go for it. If you don't, use something that could pass for a ruler. Okay, so any kind of ruler will be good. I'm more partial to transparent ones. I notice I made a mistake here. That's okay. We can erase that line later on. So I'm making a square. A square is not a form. A square, it's a shape. A shape has height and width. It lacks depth. And a form, a real form in the real world, or a drawn form, or implied, has both height, width, and implied depth. And we're going to do that right now. So I did my square. I'm going to put another square back here. So this is about an inch. So I'm going to go half an inch right here. Find my inch, my half sides. Let's go. I'm kind of eyeing it. It's around half. I was talking to two students I had last year. And this is what we learned in geometry when I was a kid. We had to memorize postulates and theorems. But, oh, I went a little bit above the middle side, but that's okay. That's okay. It's better when it's more precise. So if you want to be an architect, a designer, an engineer, you do have to be precise. Here, you guys saw that? Now, we're going to connect these lines right now. I'm going to sketch this without a ruler. I've done this so many times as a kid. I learned how to do this, believe it or not, around first grade or second grade. I don't remember anymore. So we've done our cube. Okay, now, yes, you can do this line. If this helps you out, how to do the cylinder? Well, I'm going to sketch the cylinder right now. Okay, and I am going freehand or commando, so I should have my line here. And it's going to go here. See that, guys? So what I'm going to do right now for my cylinder, I'm going to make sure it's parallel, that these lines will never meet. You have to be precise as a designer. So I'm going to make an element shape, or you guys call it the eye, and I'm going to do an axis or a cross. Same thing here. I'm going to sketch my element. Okay, it's not perfect. We'll come over here, go to the middle. And we're gonna, don't worry, we're gonna use ink over this. But I don't want to erase anything. So right now, and the problem I'm gonna have with this one is I just notice, here's my light source. So if I come down here, my shadow is gonna go this way. Oh, whoops, sorry about that. And notice I'm not touching the bottom. I don't want it to touch the bottom of the form. I want this line to be parallel to this. Right here, I'm gonna put some, okay. See this? I know it's kind of messy right now, but we'll fix it. Don't worry, guys. This is gonna go outside because I didn't frame it properly. I did it for the first time, but I didn't do it too well. See that? And I have an X here, but it's going outside. I'm gonna have to put the shadow going this way. Except light bends, so I have to remember that rule. So I'm gonna have to go down this way then. Bring this here. There we go. Not too precise for a shadow. Okay, so here's the deal. Right now I'm sketching where I want my shadow to go. There's gonna be a bent of light with the dots. Okay, guys, see that? And we're gonna, don't worry, don't erase anything. I don't like to erase until I'm fully done. Now, to make a circle, you're gonna have to find, I have a pencil sharpener. I don't like using the big ones. I like using the little ones. Believe it or not, it gives you a better tip. If you're a real artist, this is the stuff we all grew up in elementary school. You guys had electricals. I was a generation between electrical and these. You really want to use these ones. They save your color pencils. They save your pencils. So these are the best. And if you're an artist, a real artist, you're going to have these around. Or you go to the 99-cent store and you use the cheapy ones. And that's where I got these, believe it or not, 99-cent store. So now we're going to put the cylinder. Just like here. We need to figure out where I put the cylinder here. So I'm using the middle of a tape. And I just made a boo-boo. And my pencil died. So sometimes the little pencil is not the best thing in the world. So, and don't worry about it. It's okay. There we go. See that? There's my sphere. You guys see that? Just like here. Okay. See that, guys? Good. Okay, so now we're also going to have light reflection. So let's imagine here's my sunlight. I'm going to do some sun rays. I want to do like a, what's called a French, late medieval, late Gothic French sun. Or I'm going to give it wavy sun rays. So it's going to let me know this is where the sun, my implied light's coming from. Make this one a little bit long. It's not coming out what I'm trying to picture in my head, but it's getting there. So these are like, okay, this is just to remind me where my light source is coming. I think I made this one way too high. Ay, Sunday, and I don't have my, I wish I had my air conditioning running, my swamp cooler, but unfortunately the smoke's gonna get in. We had to sleep with our mask on last night, me and my mother. So my wife kept calling, see if we had to get out. She's worried about me. So here you guys go. And we're gonna make, so we got this, good. Let's finish these first. So that means my light's gonna have a light reflection. So right now what I'm gonna do, guys, I'm gonna put the light reflection on the sphere here. I'm gonna arch the lines right here, but later on I'm gonna follow it with, see that? How, so it's an arch here, and then lines are kind of coming to the vanishing point from the top. You need to use a ruler, go for it, but I wouldn't go that crazy. Okay, I don't know what else I'm gonna be doing with my sun. I'm probably gonna give it some eyes. Give it some eyes. Plain peekaboo. And later, but then we're gonna trace later on this with the cone. So let's say I'm gonna start my cone here. See what I did, guys? I used this line where I position this here. Right here to set my sphere. Now I'm using this and this to make my cone. See that? So it's going to overlap the sphere. So again, just like I did over here, I'm going to make an element. You know what? Yeah, let's just keep it here. This would be on a safe side. Does it have to be precise? Don't worry if it's not coming precise for you, but you do want to get the forms precise. You don't have to position it where I'm putting it. If you want to put your cone in your sphere here, great. If you're left-handed, I should have told you guys this first. If you're left-handed, this will work much easier for you if you do the sphere and cone on this side and these on the other side. It's just the way our brain left-handed brains work. If you are right-handed, it's going to work much better. If you're both hands, either way, but this was more closer to us. I used to be left and right, but my mom kind of, for some reason, well, not my mom. She claims it was the nuns in elementary school. So notice I did a line from here to here, and then I'm going to do the same thing here. You can use the ruler if you need to. This is called sketching. And you're in art too. You need to do small strokes of lines right now. Okay, a lot of you guys are learning this for the first time. Notice I'm leaving the gap here and here for the shadow. I'm not really happy. This should be a little bit much more for the shadow. The shadow should have gone more this way. So now you can re-edit your... There we go. Notice how I'm re-editing. Okay, so now this is what's going to happen when we do shadow. We've already done this. I'm going to start working on the shadow. See what you guys have. See how this will compare to this. Okay, so now I know my shadow's going to go this way. Here's my line. Okay, and now I'm going to put a gap between the object. See what I'm doing? I might just go here. See that, guys? I'm going to sharpen this a little bit more. Actually, I'm going to go with the little one. I was just putting too much pressure on that one. So I am sharp. I just sharpen this one. Okay, let's use a different pencil. I usually have more than one pencil because I get easily frustrated and I want to carry on the job. Okay, so this kind of looks good. I'm not happy with the shadow here right now, I'll be honest with you. Okay, this should be more this angle. There we go. Keep this line here. You see, light bends. So what I mean by that, if you're taking physics, so Mr. Brockman is going to explain that to you, and it's very important in art. You guys see that? Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. Don't worry about it. So now I'm going to start with the shadows, except I'm not going to use dots here. If you only have a pencil at home, okay, you're going to have to erase some of these, but I'm going to imagine the shadow here for this. Just for this. Okay. And this over here, this side's going to be much darker than here, especially here in the shadow. So we just made the can. Okay, so now here's the deal. Here, I'm going to start making my shadows. But this corner is going to be darker than this side. This side's going to be much lighter right here. So I'm going to go cross hatching. Cross hatching is this. Let me show you what cross hatching is. This is hatching, and we have to follow the form of the object, and this is cross hatching. Cross hatch. And I think if you had Miss Brown or myself, we taught you that Art 1. See that? So I'm going to stop here. So same thing here. So now this, I'm going to make this is going to be my gray shadow later on, but this is going to be my darker side. And I'm doing this to remind myself I need this to be my darker side. This is farther away from the light. But it's going to be triangular in here. That's the trick to that. Okay, and we do this in pencil first, then we go with the stippling. Except when we do the stippling, we're going to have to let the ink, even if it's ballpoint ink, any kind of color, we're going to have to let it dry. I would say give it 2 hours for it to dry. Working with ink, you have to do that. Any kind of ink, even modern day ink, you have to let it sit for about 2 hours and then dry. So I'm doing my cross hatching here in an angular format. Okay, but this side's going to be the darker one. This side, I'm going to leave a gap here just so I can have contrast. Okay, and same thing here. I'm going to make this a lighter gray. Okay, and I am using, not pressing that hard, but I am using just hatching. I'm not trying to do cross hatching, except down here. The reason I'm doing this is because I want to have this shadow. This is a value scale we're doing right now. Okay, and I will do a value scale with you guys so we can review that. But we need to do this. So just it's going to help us with the dots. So we're going to stop here. So this is like your rough draft. You know, when you do your rough draft essay, same thing, same principle, same. It's going to help us when we do our stippling dots. And then, like I said, after we think we're done, we're going to wait 2 hours and you erase. And it's almost like painting too. You never thought you would see ballpoint ink the same way. But yeah, that will work. Now let's work on the sphere. Same thing here. Think of your sphere right now, just like the moon. It's like a crescent. Okay, it's going to go here. And don't go draw over the cone. So just remember yourself. There is a cone. Okay, the cone. Same thing here. So I would just leave it here. This side of your cone is going to be darker. I'm kind of emphasizing that with me right now. And we're going to come to the bottom, the curved part. Do you guys see that? Just like we did over here. I am... Okay. This is something you already done either with me or Miss Brown. I do the practice with you guys. And this is, believe it or not, this is what college students are doing right now at the start of the semester, an introductory introductory to art and theory at the college. This is what they're doing. My predecessor, the gentleman who used to teach in my classroom before another teacher took over, but I know the gentleman. He teaches watercolor there, but he also teaches this class, and that's what he's teaching over there. So all you art majors, if you show him a portfolio, if you finish in high school and he likes it, he'll push you into watercolors. That's the class he teaches. He teaches advanced watercolor. He's been trying to talk me into just doing that. I love oil painting, and he's worried about. So here you guys see that? Okay, so this is what we should have right now. Now, clouds. Clouds, here's the deal with clouds. Since we have the sunlight coming down here, we have to remember this. Everything that's closer to the horizon line, guys, it's small. Here's a little bird flying close to the sun. The big sun. Everything that goes farther away keeps getting bigger. Whoops, that's a big bird. The higher it goes, the bigger, more detail we see on the bird. Okay, so everything that's up here, it's going to be bigger, everything down here. So that means if I draw a cloud, and I'm going to have a problem because the light's coming from here. So that means my cloud, okay, and I do arched lines and contrast one over the other. Okay, I'm not going to do them. I need to do them in dots. I can't do this right now because, so again, let me touch up the cone a bit. Great. So we're done with this. So now we're going to start stippling. And I need my ballpoint pens. I need a black one just to make sure. I'm going to test it out. That's blue. I can do blue, but I want to do it in black, which I'm going to start doing it right now. So now, here we go. I'm going to start with the cone. My favorite ones are cones. I love cones. Oh, wait, just remember this. We forgot to do the shadow, the ground shadow for this is how it goes. The light's coming from here for the sphere. We almost forgot that. I am so sorry. You would start from a tip here. You're going to have to imagine it. It's like an elliptical, not a circle, elliptical. Like when they shot, imagine this is Earth and we're going to the moon out here. This is how they shot the rocket Apollo 11. It never went on a straight line. It went in curves. So this means this is going to be our darker side. But I don't want to touch this. It's going to be our lighter side. It's going to be a really dark side here. I don't want to touch too much of the sphere in there. So again, we're going to get to stippling right now. So I think we're done. We're pretty good with shadows. So I'm going to go with this right now. And I want to do the cone. Because I think if we do the cone first, we don't have to worry about hurting it later. So here, the dots are going to be much closer. Okay, and you can use a ballpoint pen. I have a ballpoint pen here too. Where's my ballpoint pen? My mom comes in and moves stuff around. Oh, there it is. Please, please, please be the blue. No, that's the blue. I'm going to have to use this one. So you can use this. See? This is a ballpoint pen. And I'm going to spread out, because the light's coming on this side, I'm going to spread these out a bit more. Okay, and I'm doing this because spread them out, because that's where the light, you don't want the lines, but back here, you really want precision. Same thing here. Notice I am not touching the object. I'm coming close to it, but not too much. Right here. Right down here, the dots are going to be spread out, because the lights, the negative space is anything we don't filled up. Okay, so I'm going to follow the same format. Let me get this of the sphere. I always forget and I mess it up when I'm rushing through that. There we go. So let's get back to our dots. So now we're going to start doing dots. I'm going to put a few here too. The reason is we want texture. Texture is another art element. So with these dots, we're creating implied lines. That's an art element, lines. Value is it's also an art element, as well as form. So we've made these shapes to look like implied forms. So now I am making, let's stick to one thing at a time. I love to skip around. That's one of my terrible habits I have as an artist. You know. Okay. Let's go over here. My value here. My dots are going to be more clustered together right here. Okay. I get tired. I usually like to have more than one pen, so I'm going with my ballpoint pen right now. And you want to know how we figure out maybe blue ink or different colors? Well, most artists like ourselves who have another major, when we're in class taking notes, we get easily bored. So we, instead of texting, we start drawing, we start sketching in our notes, and we start, whatever pen we were using, the blue one or red, and we start realizing, oh wait, this works really good. I can draw with blue ink, or I can draw with red or green ink. You know, so down here, and the reason we do so now I'm going to spread it out. These ones, I'm bringing them a little bit closer here. Do not go over the cone. Make sure you do not go over the cone. So right now, I am making my value scale. Oops, don't want to get into the cone. Leave the cone there. We want to have contrast. So down here, I'm going to make it a little bit much more here, but not too much. And then put some here, it's spread out too, if you need to. I might just go all the way and out here, because this is where the sunlight's hitting the sphere. And yes, we're going to erase the pencil lines later, but like I said, when you're done completely, then I'm going to spread these out, because that's where the sun's setting, and that's our horizon. It's kind of a surreal landscape. Okay, surrealism was a 20th century art movement, popular with Salvador Dali and Mans. Okay, here we go. Leave that gap there. Good, good, good. I think I'm happy with that. I'll get to the sun later, but right now I want to focus on our review. So, if you've never drawn before and you're in art too, but you took it in middle school and all that, this is more. We have to be more academically precise. This is the difference between high design art and crafts. Crafts is something mom or grandpa or people do as a hobby. Sometimes depends on the culture. They might consider it art in their culture, local, regional, or national culture. But in the university system, you have to blame that on designers and architects who say no, 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 no. You know, they're part of the art field, and they're the ones who say, no, it has to has some merit of aesthetics, you know. And if you're getting colored pencils, know that I went to the 99-cent store, and they have them for 99 cents still, you know. So, gosh. So I'm spreading out my crescent here and creating a value for my sphere. Oh boy. Okay, so I'm gonna have to, I don't want to touch the cone too much. There we go, spread these out a bit, but respect the cone, okay? Like respect the pouch, remember that commercial? And I'm doing a crescent here too, like this. Like very sharp, but then, are you noticing that, guys? Okay, so, let me cover the tip of this pen. And I'm more comfortable right now with the ballpoint ink. It's manageable. It works much better, and you don't have to. Okay, and please use dots, because here's the deal: when you take a picture to submit your artwork, and like I said, it should be this picture. I'm going to cut this out later on and tape it to this one. Okay, so spread this out right now. Do the same thing you did here, because the shadow is a reflection. If you have more than one pen, yeah, you want to switch, because if you're getting bored with it, you know, I'm one of those persons. I like to switch pens. There we go. And bring this closer, but not too close. Make sure there's a gap. Put more dots down here. I think we're good with these two. What do you guys think? Yeah, thumbs up. You think we're good? Okay, let's move on to the next ones. Okay, the cues. Here's the deal with the cue. Light's hitting it here, so these lines are going to be spread out more. Okay, there we go. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to spread out these dots. Whoops. Okay, left a gap there. Shouldn't have done that. Right here, this is where, yeah. Okay, this is going to be down here. It's going to be very, almost like a line of dots. Up here, I'm going to spread them out a bit. That's the farther I get it from it. There we go. Okay, don't want to add too much too. So, also, if you think you're going to smear something, here's the trick. Grab something and go over it. Make sure you don't erase underneath there. I just realized I didn't do the shadow down here for this. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go down here. So always finish your one side first. Don't be, that's where I mess up too. So I always like to skip around. Then I realize I didn't finish one side and I have to get back to that. Okay. Now I want to switch pens again. So yeah, if you're doing it in blue, make sure you have more than one blue ink pen, because you're going to get tired using the same pen. I don't know, maybe I'm just like that. I don't like to keep using the same pen over and over again. Like a brush. If I'm using a round brush, I'm going to use more than one round brush, because maybe I won't have a different value. See that? Okay. And I'm going to make this, like, spread this out. And here I'm going to spread these ones out more. This is letting me know that this is much more of a lighter. Yeah, and don't stick to the, don't do a scale. Just skip around, blend it. In art and design, we blend things. Whoops. And make sure you don't touch the cone. Imagine an invisible line right there, an implied line. It helps us create that illusion. You're trying to create the illusion, guys. So just like a magician. So I think we're good with that. We can leave it alone a bit. I'll maybe put a couple more dots there. Come back here. What do you guys think? So again, we're going to have to let that side set in. Get back to the cube. Okay, so I'm using the same pen still. So we decided to go, I'm going to cut my shadow here. This side's going to be darker. And this side. I'm going to spread out here more because for some reason the light bends more on this side. Here I'm going to spread them out. I didn't do that on the prior one. I'm coming down here. If you notice, I'm leaving a gap, guys. I'm leaving a gap here so we can still see the form, the implied form, and its shadow. We don't want it to blend. So I'm leaving that blank. So just, you're going to have to go in there and do it really close, but not too close. So this is what I'm doing right now. If you guys can see that. Okay, so just like a surgeon, believe it or not, surgeons and doctors who have to for emergency surgery sometimes, they practice and they paint and draw a lot because it sharpens their scalpel skills when they have to go and cut into humans, to the flesh and organs and all that. You know. So this is where my dark shadow. So I'm gonna make this side darker than this side. So this is why the lines here almost like a line, the dots, precisely almost like a line. Think of it like a tattoo shop. You're giving Polynesian Maori. Here I'm going to spread these out more because the light's coming from this direction. And I'm doing a big no-no. I'm not covering up. Okay. Spread these out a bit more. There we go. There we go. Here's the thing. Here the lines are going to be more spread out. It's going to have a few dots here because of texture. The lines are going to be more darker here, closer together. And I'm going to start with the cylinder here too, like a line here. Spread these out because the light's going to hit it here. But the dots are going to be much more closer. Spread these out a bit just to make an implied line right here. I think we're good right now. Just to give you a heads up, we're going to have this is going to be my darker side, but it's not going to be a perfect triangle here. See that, guys? And I'm going to start darkening I'm going to leave this here. But this is almost going to be like a cluster of dots. So bring this in here. It's going to be darker here. We got perfect. You guys see the contrast? Okay. Right here with the cylinder, I'm going to spread these out a bit more. Stay on the line. Then we can erase it. Nobody will know. Don't even tell people that you sketched the line first. Then very softly here. Very softly here. But here, I'm going to cluster these. I'm going to do my cylinder from back here. I think I'm going to finish the cylinder first. Just like I did over here. Except down here, we have to imagine the shadow back here. Don't draw over there. Be careful, okay? So just think of it. If you're a doctor, there's an organ there. You don't want to touch it. You want to touch on this one. So there you go. You don't want to slice into it. I think we're done with the cylinder. Now comes, let me take a break from that pen. And I'm going to get to this. I'm going to go with the dark side first. I'm going to spread a few of these down here. I'm going to spread them out. But here, I'm going to get really dark. And down here especially. I'm going to cover almost the whole thing. 99% almost. Not completely. I want to leave some. The reason I want to leave something open is because you want to give it texture. Okay, so. Good heavens. So I know the video's going long. It's going to probably take me 2 hours to upload it on YouTube. Yeah. And you guys can stop and go. You don't have to. If it's on YouTube, you guys can just use it as a reference. Remember, this is our week project, okay, guys? So. Oh, it's coming out really nicely again. I thought sometimes when I do something, it doesn't come out as good as in the beginning. Okay. Like I said, you don't have, I need you guys to draw these, but if you want to put them in a different style, if you want to put the cones here or the cone in the middle, go for it. You don't have to I'll mention that in class, but you don't have to do what I did. But you do need a cone, a sphere, a cylinder, and a cube, and it has to be stippling. But I'm showing you my my tricks, my methods that I've learned throughout the years. So this is going to be the dark side. I'm going to take a break again. I just got bored with this pen, so okay. I'm going to come down. Now let's finish the wall. Do one thing at a time. Don't skip around. Terrible habit I have of doing that. It's going to sound like a woodpecker for a little while. See that? Okay, so think of it, you're doing a tattoo for somebody, or you're a woodpecker, or, when we did the Japanese birdhouse in Art 1, I used to joke around. Think of somebody you once dated you don't like anymore, and you're poking them. Not just kidding. So, yep, it is getting here. I'm trying not to start humming. I usually, when I do artwork, I start humming the theme song from an old TV show called I Dream of Jeannie. So let's go down here. I want to cluster this right here more. I'm going to leave this here like it is, but I'm going to cluster this. And I think we're good. Now, I'm going to do it here too. I got tired. I'm going to do, again, the triangular, this side. Here you guys go. And I'm going to start clustering the shadow. Okay. So we did the dark side first. This is going to be the darkest part of the cube. This portion of the cube needs to be slightly lighter. And notice I'm leaving the line blank here so that we can see and we're going to do the same thing here. But we want to have contrast. That's a design principle. We want to have contrast. Okay. We're going to have asymmetrical balance. That's another design principle because we don't have 50-50. It's asymmetrical. Okay, spread these out more because it's getting farther away from the dark side. You know what? No, again, notice I left a blank gap here and another one I'm going to leave here because we have that contrast between the shadow and the object. And I'm skipping back and forth between my really dark side and the portion of the shadow. I don't want it to be that dark. Back here, the light's bending over, so this is why we're trying to create that illusion. So, put this pen away because you know what? I just noticed a little spot that just irritated me. Okay, I think we're good here. Maybe not. I still want it to look much more dark. I think we're going to stop. Also, it makes it look like it's made of stone or texture. Okay, and I just hope I don't run out of ink. Okay, so now let's come up to this side. Notice how we're getting there, guys. Okay. Oh boy, it's so. I hope you guys have better air conditioning. You don't have to smell the smoke. We don't want to put our swamp cooler because of that. So. And yeah, you notice you have to flip it around, guys. You have to flip it around. So now I'm going to come to this side, and this side is going to be much. Let's darken this lighter. So this side, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to get close, but not too close. I'm going to do a little cluster here, but not too close. And I'm going to start spreading these out because this is where my shadow is too. But for some reason, this side, well, no, it's just the light's coming over here and it's bending this. I'm going to have these spread out. But don't touch this. Keep this like a border, just like we did down here. Same thing. You're creating a border, but not too clustered. You don't want to create the same level of value as on this side that I'm doing right now. And like I said, when you think you're done, stop, let it dry for a good, I would say, an hour at the most. To be on the safe side, wait about 2 hours before you start erasing the graphite, the pencil drawing sketch underneath it. Now, some artists have done this so many times, they're really good at it. Also, if we would be doing this with white wax on a brass plate, we will be doing a printing negative, so we can print it several times. That's what I was talking about, the printing press and Albert Dürer. So they would have been doing this with, they still do it. It's called hemp printing in downtown LA in the art district, and they do it the old-fashioned way. Most of the important invitations, government documents, they still use the same material that was made ropes with, or paper. If you go to Europe, it's not made of wood. Paper, it's not made of, and they still use it out of the plant. So we're the only country that still uses wood pulp. England does it too, but they use they put wool in their paper sometimes, the fancy paper. Okay, most of the European countries don't. They make it out of the same material that. Okay, I got to be careful with that and start spreading this out. Create this. Spread these out a bit more. Not too much. Still got to let this one know that this is the dark side. Okay. Whoops. I'm sorry, I made the camera bounce. So you want to fill some of this in. I'm going slow. So I'm trying to find the spots I haven't. So yeah, this is what artists do, believe it or not, especially when you make print plates out of copper or brass. You do it in white wax, then you pour in a light acid wash. It burns the copper plate, not the part that's covered in wax. And come down here. Think of a triangle too again when you do this. There we go. And remember the sign of contrast. It helps us create that illusion. Sometimes we have to do this to mimic real life. Okay, think of an artist being a magician. You're trying to create optical illusions with the eye. And that's what we do. We're trying to fool those people who are not artists. You know, like, wow, how did you do that? And you just don't, well, it just came to me. No, don't tell them it took, like myself, it took some time to master this. You had to study other people's skills. And hopefully they share them with you. If not, you borrow from them. I think I am done here. Okay, I think we're really, wait, I'm not happy. There's too many gaps, it's empty spaces here. Okay, there we go. I still want to make this look like a line here. There we go. Even if it blends in there, I gotta look at the original. Okay, I think we're there. Except, remember, I've already erased the pencil markings here. I think I'm gonna stop here because sometimes when you do too much, that's when you ruin it. So sometimes you have to know when to put on the brakes. And I think I'm getting to that spot right now. Except down here, I need to put more dots, blend this more. This side should be a little bit darker. Maybe not, but. And I gotta be careful. I don't want to go over my break line. See that, guys? I think I'm gonna stop there before it gets worse. I'm gonna have fun with the cloud. I don't have. Here's my vanishing point. So I'm gonna draw my son's eyes. I'm gonna give it those 1930s Betty Boop eyes. There we go. Little happy little sun setting in for the day. So I'm just imagining I would have been making a print plate. I did that once in my art program for my aesthetics branch of philosophy. the art majors were kind of worried I didn't know what I was doing because they took the lower classes and I was challenging the stuff. Um, but I had to do research that summer. See that? My little son looks more like a clown right now. I'm sorry. If you're afraid of clowns, I apologize. There's some people who are afraid of clowns, so I shouldn't have said that. Ooh. Don't make it look like a clown if you're afraid of clowns. Although, I have nothing against clowns. I'm not crazy about them, but, you know, sometimes to make an object look friendly. Okay. Oh, my hand. So if you're doing this in blue or red ink, it's still going to come out. Actually, in red ink, it's going to look really cool. See that? Clouds. Here's the trick to clouds. So we have the light coming this way. That means the light's going to be coming from to the bottom of the cloud. So every cloud is down here. I'm going to do it in dots. I'm going to show you. I'm not even done. I did that line too. I have to spread these out. Here we go. I'm doing them. Make sure you don't touch the arches. See that? I made them way, way too close, I think, in my opinion. Clouds look like something you flush down the toilet sometimes after you've taken care of business. So I'm going to do the cluster dots up here. So there's my little joke. If you got it, great. Yeah, it starts with a D. And I say that and clouds have all different shapes. If you were in the Antelope Valley, we had some storm clouds that came in and dumped a lot of water, made it hot. So there's my cloud. I'm going to spread this dot here more. But up here, I'm making my lines, my arches to go this way. The dots are much closer. So every cloud down here, just like the birds are going to be tiny here, but they're going to get bigger. So the trick is, you know that. And then I need you guys to write foreground, middle ground, just positioning, horizon line. We already know this vanishing point, so you want to write, if you did a sunlight, if that helps you out. Just like I did up here. This is our finished product, except I didn't put a sun here. I'm going to put another cloud here. So I'm going to do another cloud for you guys here. Now it's up here, and this is the atmosphere, but in middle atmosphere. And I'm going to spread these out more too. This is where my sunlight's coming from. Okay, so I'm arching downward. I'm not touching them. I don't want them to touch. Then I'm going to flip it around. And just everything that's farther away from the sunlight is going to be more detail. So everything that's upward here, the upward arches are going to be much, much closer to each other. And I noticed I didn't do that a lot. I kind of got them too closer here. I haven't done this for years, that's why. When you get out of practice, you forget. It's like exercise. Drawing is, and painting, any design medium. If you don't do it for a while, there we go. You see that? I'm going to put another cloud here, but this one's going to be much, much. You know what? I can't because I got to draw. We're going to draw our value scale. So using the ruler again, go with the transparent one. Go with pencil. I'm going to divide this into 4.5 inches here. Okay, I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to go back to the other one. So I'm going to start with here, 4.5 inches. Right here. Change pens. I got tired with this pen. Do it in pencil too, just in case you mess up. Please go with pencil first. Because in case you mess up, you can always erase a mistake, guys. So now I am going to go 4.5 again. Don't do what I'm doing. See, I already messed up and I can't fix it. So now 4.5. Using the ruler, I'm going to divide this into 9 sections. You're going to create a value scale using, and I think either a relative of mine is calling me back from Europe. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I messed up, guys. See what happens? Okay, I messed up. Should have been 9 sections because of that. This is going to be our darkest side, so we're pretty much done with this. So now I'm going to come back to this, and just like you did up here, I'm not going to put too many dots here, just a few. Here, I'm going to put a little few more. Whoops, that's way too much. Let me change pens. I'm going to spread these out more. This this was happens on me on Sunday. All my relatives, my wife. Uh, my wife calls me up every day. But anyways, all my relatives and people I went to grad school in Europe started texting me, and a few friends around the world have. I have a Japanese compadre who doesn't live in Japan anymore. He lives in Australia. So let's come back here. So this one's going to be more. I'm going to do my. So I kind of made them Roman numerals too to let me know which is the darkest. Okay. Not too much. I'm going to leave some blocks here. Okay. And try to see the levels. Oh, Lord. I really did mess up. Because it's warm. Okay, so try to create your value scale. And the messages. Start getting messages from my relatives in Spain. And Austria and Italy. I guess. I can tell. Yep. I pretty much. So this is it. Just create your value scale. Oh, Jesus. They are. They're really worried about the fires. More than I am. I'm going to leave that one there. And then when all the ink dries, guys, just erase it. Write your notes, like I should have said background here. Did it in pencil first. I'm going to go with capital letters now instead. So, horizon line. Atmosphere. I have terrible penmanship the older I get. Atmosphere. Jux. So that's what we did. We just position, which is a technique, in space. So we did, oh yeah, we did. So the art elements we covered today are two, guys. I'm going to write them on the back of this, and I'm going to tape it to the, I'm going to tape this to that. We did, and don't ever use a filter for your notes. Use a pencil. We did, first one we did is space. The art element of space, and we juxtaposition. Okay. These are the art elements we cover. Sorry, guys. The art elements we cover. So we did space, juxtaposition. We positioned them in certain areas. We did, we also spaced them, you know. We labeled the sections. We also did, what other art elements? Oh, we did, I'm going backwards. We did value. Value. That's light versus shadow. Okay, that's one. What else? Oh, we did shape into. Shape is, remember, it's 2D into form. My favorite form. 3D. There we go. We did, what other art elements we have? We did lines, implied lines. Let's just put it this way. Implied lines are not real because they're dots. We didn't use actual lines, but we did lines. Okay, implied lines. So we cover space, value, shape. Oh, and the little one I always forget, texture. Texture on the forms. I probably misspelled it. So we did this. Art element. Principles of design we did. On this, principle of design. And I shouldn't press this hard. Principle of design. We use contrast. and you want to put a symmetrical balance, go for it. But I'm going to go with contrast. So this is what we did. Our elements were space, just positioning. It's talking about this whole thing. Foreground, middle ground, background. Value. We used a lot of value between dark and light. We used shape. We flipped a shape of a square, a rectangle, a triangle, and a circle to create an implied forms of a sphere for the circle, cone for the triangle, cylinder for the rectangle, and the square became a cube. So we created implied form 3D height, width, depth, and height, width, depth. Yeah, then 3. And texture. Even with the dots and the shadow, we kind of gave it a rough top, you know? Too much here. Maybe a little bit here. You know, not too much. Just give it more texture than it had. I'm not happy with the shadow yet. But we did that. And what else? Yeah, and that's it. That's our project for this week, guys. We got it? Good. It's taken me an hour. Hopefully I can save this and upload it. You guys take care.